We start out with a very strange-looking ultrasound. There's one baby in there. Then there's two. Then there's one again. For a moment, it looks as if they're fighting, or rather one is attacking the other. But then the screen goes blank. Really, it just looks uncomfortable for everyone involved. 17-year-old Maria is a quiet, shy, and a very nervous teenage girl. And as she gets ready for school, she watches her reflection in the mirror with contempt. As she eats breakfast with her parents, an awkward silence hangs between them. When she gets on the school bus, one of the boys, Mark, blocks her path and laughs with his friends. Even her best friend, Lily, is cold and doesn't really seem to like her at all. It's tough being Maria. Lily is a champion ice skater, and her boyfriend, Sean, plays ice hockey. It's a match made in heaven, and Maria knows it. She watches alone as Sean practices hockey, and she stares in envy as Lily skates over to him and the two make out. Clearly, she wishes she was as pretty as her best friend. Then maybe the boys might pay her some attention. And that night, Maria's engaging in another awkward dinner with her parents. Senior prom's coming up, and her mother is trying to convince her to ask a boy out that she knows. As if she hasn't noticed already that her daughter is an antisocial teen with some serious depression. As expected, Maria snaps at her mom and storms off. She doesn't want any part of it. Once she's gone, her father sighs. He isn't surprised by his daughter's reaction at all, and he thinks it's time that they admit their daughter is screwed up. Little does he realize that Maria's sitting around the corner, listening to everything being said. How awkward. Feeling more depressed than usual, Maria sneaks into her parents' room to use her mother's makeup. It's then that she sees a photo tucked behind the mirror. The photo is of an ultrasound, presumably of when Maria was a baby. There's just one problem. There are two fetuses in the photo. Naturally, Maria looks a tad confused. Maria's in the bathroom sitting on the vanity masturbating. She's in her own world, looking happy for once when her reflection moves on its own. When Maria notices, she flips out, only to quickly calm herself and look a little closer, as if not believing. But sure enough, the reflection moves on its own again, and Maria flees the bathroom in panic. The next morning, she tries to tell her father about what happened, but he's a bit of a prick and instead scolds Maria for not getting enough sleep. It makes her look washed out and unattractive, he says. And Father of the Year award does not go to him. Lily has scored a new car, and she gives Maria and Sean a lift to school. Maria watches on in jealousy as the two make out. Once at school, that bully Mark trips her and laughs about it, as if it's the funniest thing of all time. Before we go on, like the video, smash the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to get that full day of good luck. Sean tries to defend her, but this only seems to upset Lily. Regardless, Sean proves that he might be the only nice guy in this movie, making sure that Maria's all right. Maria's having a bath. She ducks her head under the water and we get visions of an operating room and the sounds of a baby crying. She resurfaces quickly, out of breath, not knowing what she saw. And that night, Maria works up the courage to look at her reflection again. This time, however, it talks back. Maria's scared at first, but her reflection soon calms her, and they get to chatting. It's a little one-sided, but that tends to happen when you talk to yourself. The reflection's name is Aram, and she tells Lily that she's always been with her because she is her. The only difference is that Aram is confident in herself, assured, and knows how beautiful she is. Something has changed in Maria, and it's not just an improved reflection. The next morning, she tells her parents that she will go to the prom, and they're both so pleased. Maria's father's a plastic surgeon, and we see him helping a woman with breast augmentation. He's a little creepy about it and definitely flirty. Maria waits for him in the waiting room. But when he comes out, another female patient is there. She urges Maria's father to see her, nearly begs him. Maria watches the interaction, and it doesn't take a genius, just a depressed high school student, to realize that they're having an affair. Maria and her father are now at the movies together when she spots Mark. Then she bumps into him outside, and he pretends to be her friend simply because her father's there. It's creepy the way he talks to her, and we get the sense that there's something else going on. Almost as if he is sincere. That can't be right, this guy's an asshole. Aram tries to convince Maria that her father is embarrassed by her. Maria doesn't believe her, But later, when she visits her father at work, he gives her a very detailed breakdown of the plastic surgery he would like to perform on her. Very detailed. He basically calls her ugly, but claims he can make her beautiful by shaving off this and removing that and fixing those. Maria holds back the tears, something she's used to by now. So Maria's bitching about her parents to Aram. Aram makes a joke about her mother needing to get laid, which sends Maria in a fit of laughter. Her mother hears this laughter and steps inside to see her daughter alone. She's confused, wanting to know who Maria's talking to. Either that or Maria must be on drugs. Her mother doesn't seem to know which she'd prefer. She later raises this concern with her husband, but as expected, he waves her down. She becomes hysterical, so he lays her down and tries to calm her by applying a face mask. And yeah, it's as creepy as it sounds. She tells him that the dreams are back. He seems unconcerned, claiming that they'll go away as they always do. The school prom takes place on an ice rink, so Maria needs to learn how to skate. Lily offers to help, but unfortunately Maria's pretty useless and falls over nearly right away. She begs Lily to help her, but Lily smiles and skates away. But not before warning Maria to stay away from Sean, as if Maria somehow had a chance with him. Later on, Aram reminds Maria that Lily always does this, pretending to be her friend but treating her like less than she. Maria doesn't want to believe it, but soon Aram has her remembering all the terrible things that Lily has done. But there is a way that Aram can help. She can take away all of Maria's pain and all of the hurt. All Maria has to do is trust her. Slowly, she puts her hands on the mirror, mimicking Aram's actions. Then she leans in, about to kiss her on the lips when a knock on the door interrupts Maria. It's her mom. Tonight's the night of the prom and she has to get ready. She does just this, looking beautiful. When Maria turns up at the prom, for a moment she actually believes it. Sean asks her for a dance, and for a few moments everything seems perfect. But then he leaves her. She falls over, and Mark drags her along the ice to the laughter and jeers of the school. It's humiliating, and Maria flees in tears. Back home, Maria goes to Aram, in tears. And Aram's not surprised. This time manages to convince Maria that she needs her help. They touch hands, and Maria kisses the mirror. And then, we're not sure. Nothing seems to have happened, and yet Maria looks different. More confident, more self-assured. This is definitely a different girl to the one we've seen the last 45 minutes. That night, her mother has a nightmare. She's on the operating table giving birth. She's in pain, and she's screaming. Next, she's in bed at home, and blood is pouring down her legs as her husband cuts himself in the bathroom. It's the next morning, and Maria's a changed woman. In fact, it's not Maria at all, but Aram. She eats breakfast for the first time. At school, Mark tries to tease her, and she approaches him, whispering seductively in his ear while stroking his package. He looks beyond freaked out and has no idea what to do. No one does. Sean approaches Aram and asks what she said. She told him, and he can't believe it. I still can't. Lily apologizes to Aram for what happened at the prom, but she doesn't seem to care, instead asking if Lily will still help teach her how to skate. Lily is naturally confused by this, but agrees. In a very creepy moment, Aram visits her father at work and kisses him gently on the cheek, telling him that she missed him. He looks a little concerned and hurries from the room. From there, she manages to get her hands on the number of the patient that she believes her father's having an affair with. She calls and lies about her father wanting to see her tomorrow. Next, she asks the receptionist to tell her mother to come to the office at the same time, that her father is planning a surprise lunch. It's deliciously evil of her. Her mother's in bed looking depressed when the phone rings. It's the receptionist telling her about the lunch. Maria's mother seems thrilled and eagerly gets ready. However, when she's in the elevator to her husband's office, the woman he's having an affair with is also there. She comments on the woman's dress, who says that it's the doctor's favorite. The implication is clear and the mother knows it. That night, Aram and her mother eat dinner alone. She asks where her father is, if he's still at work. Her mother, seeming distracted, nods absently and says, probably. Aram, however, pushes, making a very strange comparison between their marriage and a cold piece of steak. She then demands that her mother admit that he's another woman, and her mother slaps her across the face. In the bathroom, the older Maria is getting upset with her replacement. She's stuck behind the mirror, but she's able to see everything that Aram has been doing and saying. She wants her to stop, but Aram points out that it's all true and that Maria wants it. Worse, though, is when Aram implies that she's going to be getting revenge on everyone that deserves it. Aram watches hockey practice. As she does, Sean skates up and tells her that she's dead. Apparently, he's still mad that she stood up to him. When practice is over, Sean sees Aram walking alone toward the change rooms. He follows her, hearing the shower running. He sneaks in, his intent not clear but creepy nonetheless. However, when he jumps in the shower, it's empty. He's confused, until Aram steps out of nowhere and smashes his knee with a hockey stick. He drops to the ground unable to stand, and Aram circles him like a shark about to eat its prey. Lily and Aram go ice skating. On the way, they listen to music, and Aram smiles and sings, and Lily can't believe how happy she is. But when they get to the rink, she's shocked to see that Aram can now skate. Not only can she skate, but she's good. Lily tries to outdo her, but Aram matches the moves easily. Eventually, Lily manages to perform a move that sees Aram on the ground. But this only makes things worse. As she gets back to her feet, she fixes Lily with a deranged look. Not liking the looks of it, starts to skate away, but Aram chases her. Lily flees for her life, looking over her shoulder as her friend's getting closer. Suddenly, she trips, falls, slides across the ice, and hits her head on a wall. She dies instantly, which only seems to please Aram. She then picks up the phone and makes a call to the police, faking the tears and acting upset. Really, she couldn't be happier. Finally, Maria starts to realize that maybe she made a mistake by letting Aram take over. She begs for Aram to stop, but she claims she didn't do anything and that Maria is better off without Lily. Maria asks who Aram is, a question she really should have asked days ago. But Aram somehow manages to force Maria back to being a reflection. It isn't really clear why or how, though. It's Lily's funeral, and the mood is bleak. Aram watches Sean from afar, and when he's watching her, she pretends at being upset and leaves. He follows her to make sure she's all right, and through some serious powers of persuasion, she manages to get him to invite her over to his house to grieve. Once there, however, she forces herself on him, grabbing his crotch and telling him all about the time she's thought of them together. Sean tries to hold out the best he can, but, well, he's only human. Aram's having dinner with her father. It's an odd dynamic, almost flirtatious in the way she talks to him. Soon she starts to act up. She takes his wine glass, leans back in her chair, giggles loudly as she eats, and allows for the food to drip down her chin. Her father, furious, snaps at her. He commands that she start acting like an adult, not a little girl trying too hard. He calls her pathetic, in fact. And this seems to hit her the hardest. The relationship between Aram and Sean heats up, and it's clear that she's a bad influence on him. Although, again, who could blame him? They flirt in class, make out in the hallways, have sex in her house when her mother's downstairs. It's a scene. Soon, she has Sean cutting class with her. She takes him to a seedy hotel that she's booked, and she even stole a bottle of vodka off her mom. It's going to be a good time by the looks of it, until Sean's mother calls asking where he is. Apparently, the police are at the school and want to speak to both of them. He's apologetic and says he'll return now, but Aram doesn't want to. She has no desire to talk to the police, and as she pulls away, Sean starts to suspect there might be a reason for this. She tries to seduce him again, but he pushes her away. Furious, she smashes him over the back of the head with the vodka bottle, killing him. Maria's really starting to regret her decision now, and strangely, it might even look as if Aram is. There's a symbiotic relationship existing between the two, and Aram's actions seem to be affecting them both. It's a dream sequence, and Maria's mother's back on the operating table, having just given birth. Her husband's there too, and he tells her that one of the babies is deformed, disgustingly so. He claims that killing it will be a mercy, and although the mother begs to see her baby, the father refuses. He buries it outside in the snow. Feigning at being drunk, Aram turns up at her father's practice and has him carry her into the surgery room. Once there, she stands up and quickly undresses down to nothing. He's uncomfortable and asks her to put her clothes on, but she demands that he see her and asks if he would still want her if she was deformed. Then when she's close enough, she slices his throat with a scalpel and watches him bleed out. As he dies, she asks, "Why couldn't you love me?" As she washes up, she looks at her reflection and calls to Maria. Maria doesn't show, and Aram, not understanding, smashes the mirror. She then wanders home looking terrified. We cut to her bed with her mother, snuggled up in her right arm. The camera blinks, and she's in her mother's left arm. It blinks again, back to the right. It cuts between these two positions until finally, her mother is cradling them both in her arms, as it always should have been. This was a recap of the film Look Away, produced by Vertical Entertainment and released in 2018. Directed by Asaf Bernstein, it stars India Isley, Mira Sorvino, and Jason Isaacs. The ending to this film was strange to say the least. What do you think it was supposed to represent? Tell us with the hashtag CinemaRecap in the comments.